My name is Amani and I am from the highlands of Nukorsule and Itasiri, and sharing my links in Masinuku Siro. I am 24 years of age, and I am currently studying in USP, majoring in HR and land management. Before I used to be a drug user, but now I have decided to follow Jesus in order for me to be a successful leader.
Vinaka.
Okay, Mbula Vinaka everyone. My name is Inosi. I am a 22-year-old Fijian boy. I was born and raised in the sugar city of Lautoka, and I am currently residing in Suva. So I was once a very heavy smoker, and I thank the Lord for giving me the power to overcome addiction and being able to sit here and also to give advice to my brothers out there who are fighting addiction against drugs.
Naka. Thanks, my brother.
Vinaka everyone. My name is Ratuniko Korwanga. I'm from the village of Naimbita in Winbuka in the province of Tailiu, and Siamatene links to Korvo Vuna Taviuni. And yes, I'm also studying in the University of the South Pacific, and I'm also had a relationship with drugs. Also a drug user, and yes, of course.
Today we're going to get their perspective, and we're going to see how they overcame drugs, especially as a youth, right? Hey, I'm Dawn.
And I'm Avon.
And you are watching BulaTok, a youth-oriented podcast that is rooted in the Pacifica art of storytelling, where we get to hear your stories and where you get to empower people through your stories as well.
And on today's episode, we're joined by three powerful young men who have histories of drug usage and have come on the podcast today to share their stories.
Yeah, welcome, guys. Welcome. Are you guys feeling good? How do you guys feel? Good?
We feel so good and so energized to share our stories to help young citizens.
Cool. Okay. So we'll start first with Amani. Let's hear Amani. Amani, tell us about your story. How did you start getting into drugs?
When I started secondary school, I started with a good boy attitude, you know.
Right.
And I went up till Form 7. After Form 7, after my exams, I wanted to try something different. So out of curiosity, I tried smoking, suki, and cigarette, and most importantly, the marijuana. Boom! Oh. It was very... very good when I felt that.
At that moment, right?
At that moment, yeah. It was very tempting, you know.
Except you don't add that in.
Disclaimer, we're not promoting drug use, please.
And I started smoking suki. After a few years, it started to affect me in a different way, with how I think and how my schoolwork used to flourish. And now I experienced some of the changes where I couldn't think straight, and most importantly, how I kept on forgetting things. You know?
Like short-term memory loss. So like you started off out of curiosity, right?
Yes.
You're curious.
Yes.
What does it taste like? What does it feel like? You know?
When I started smoking, it felt so good, man.
Is that the main reason why you jumped in, or was there some other factors?
That was the main reason. I wanted to try something new because I was a good boy straight from high school. Right. And then when I jumped into university life, want to try university things.
Right.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, I'm a university student now. Now I wanna, act my age, sort of thing, right? Now, maybe our brother Inosi, how did you? I mean, what was that starting point that got you into drugs or tobacco use or whatever?
Well, thank you very much, Don. For me, my story is quite unique. I started way back when I was so young. I started smoking paper when I went back home in Lotoka, and then right up till Form 4. When I was in year 10, I was in a group of friends. Because I was a very, very, very naughty boy, I was trying to fit into this friendship group. This group of friends, they smoke cigarette. So at one point after school, we had to plan things out, to go and play touch rugby. When we went and played touch rugby in that ground, the plan started to change.
Right.
So they said, wait, come, there's a washroom, there's a public toilet beside this ground. So we had to go into that public toilet, and then they said, have you ever tried roll? Have you ever tried, in Fijian we say kavuru? Have you ever tried kavuru before? So
So it's like it, Suki, now
Yeah.
Kavuru.
Kavuru. Yes,
Cigarette.
of course, cigarette. So they lit it up and then they gave it to me. I tried it for the first time. My brain started feeling this dizziness. So they told me it's normal. So I had to close my eyes. When you try cigarette for the first time, you feel like it changes your mindset. It gives you this dizziness. You can't even walk properly. Like spin. Your brain spins. That's the first time I tried cigarette. And then from that day, I started doing it. It's fun when we do it way back then because we tend to hide it from others. Even a teenage group, and then you smoke it from a corner, like a bush, or in the toilet, or in some place where people don't see you.
It's like a thrill of the mystery, huh?
Yes, that's the first time I smoked cigarette. So I wanted, I started smoking cigarette. It became a habit. Form 4, it became a habit.
But yeah, when did it jump all the way to drugs?
Okay, moving on to marijuana. Marijuana came in after FJC. They call it FY10CA now, Fiji 10th year examination. Same year, Form 4, but after FJC, after that Form 4 external examination, we had to plan for a smack juice session at one of our friends' house.
So disclaimer, smack juice session is like a session where we get a basin of juice in front of the whole group and we are just distributing the cups of juice around to every
Yes,
single man.
exactly.
Right.
So we made the plan, we scheduled the time, meet at this friend's house around 7 p.m. When I came in at 7 p.m., all my friends were there. Little did I know that one of my friends brought with him a pack of weed, a pack of marijuana, to be more specific. So that night we were smoking cigarette, we were drinking juice, smoking cigarette, and then this guy brought out this pack of weed from his pocket. So he told us. Some of them were doing it as well, but I think there were 3 or 2 of us. That's the first time we started it. So he told us, bring a bottle and bring a can. And then he made the tools. So he put in the weed inside the tools. And then that's the first time I tried smoking marijuana.
Sorry,
And,
you said tools. What are the tools?
The tools is this 600 ml bottle of water and a can where you kind of make a cone out of that can and you sort of make a hole. Yes.
So it's basically like a makeshift bong.
Tools is what
Okay.
the equipment that we use to smoke weed.
Okay.
That is a definition of tools in a gangster way.
Right. So that's the starting point.
Yes.
That's I think it was I mean, you started
Starting
there.
point. From then, I started smoking weed, but not on a daily basis until COVID-19. When COVID-19 came in, people were staying home. There were no classes. I remember way back then, we had to stay home for 3 months, lockdown for 3 months. And then we had this group of friends in the neighborhood. Before, they knew that I wasn't doing the stuff that they do. But then when they found out that I was also smoking weed, cigarette and everything, they would come to our house every day shouting, "Doogie." Doogie is a term where we use to bring $2 each. 5 boys bring $2 each, $10. $10 can cost you a smoke or a pack of weed.
Doogie.
Doogie. In Fijian we say kalawa.
Right. That's some terminologies that are
Yes.
used nowadays. Gen Z terminologies. Eh?
And then when we go and buy the weed, we say score.
Right.
So when people come back with a pack of weed, we'll ask, where did you score from?
Where did you buy from?
Yes. In other words, where did you buy from?
Right. Okay, so that's the starting point of your life,
Yes.
and it has continued on. COVID-19.
COVID-19, it is the period where I had an addiction to it.
Like it had intensified.
Yeah, because I started doing it every day. I went to this point where we started smoking benzene. No, not smoking benzene. We started sniffing benzene. Sniffing benzene and then smoking weed at the same time.
Wow, so it's like now intensifying. You're starting to mix it with other
Yes, of course.
chemicals.
Sorry, what does the benzene and the weed have to do with each other? Like, how did one intensify the other? Did it?
So the benzene, it kind of, when you start laughing, you can't stop laughing. That's the main thing with the
It also
benzene.
gives a high. It gives a high.
So does it enhance the effects of the weed, or is it just?
I do not know why we do it together, but the thing is, it kind of gives you the same thing. But the only difference is that when you smoke weed, you get high for a couple of hours. But for benzene, when you sniff for 5 minutes, you get high for only 3 or 2 minutes. Or that's the only difference.
It's just they want to chase that high, and they do anything they want. They'll mix it with. It's actually what they do now. They mix ice with different types of drugs, and they
Exactly.
do it all at the same time. Is that right?
Yes, of course, you are right.
So you've answered my question. You've answered my question on what was your starting point, and you've answered it very well, to the point, specific. The whole chronological story from the beginning to the end, which is really good, which is really great. Now, what about Nico? I'm curious to hear what Nico has to say. What was your starting point?
So yes, my starting point was a bit more like a funny situation that involves me with someone I look up to. Is someone I look up to, and because so there was a funeral
preparing the food.
and we were preparing the food, and so we were kind of tired preparing all. We have to cut all those root crops and stuff and prepare it for tomorrow's lunch. So we went back at the school's foyer, and I saw this person. I saw this person.
The person that you look up to.
That I look up to, yes, of course. He lit the thing up. To specify it was a cigarette. To specify the cigarette, it's a sweets. Yes, it's a sweets. Yes, it's a sweets. So he lit the thing up, and he started smoking it, puffing it. Then I came. He never knew that I came. So I came behind him. Then I saw him smoke. Then he was like, he saw me standing in front of him, and he tried to lure me into it too. So we had a fair situation about it, where we won't expose each other about what we saw. So yes, and he had all those kind of thoughts, and he had to mastermind all those kind of words he had to tell me, and I was tempted, so I tried it too. So I tried it, and yes, just like Inosi said, the first time I tried it, was because it's the first time I tried it. It was that
Sensation.
So when I started puffing it, my brain couldn't function well, and that smoke it kind of like chokes my throat because it's like first time for me to trade. Oftenly, most people who trade for the first time, they would like that kind of choke feeling with, and that would lead them to a coughing. Yes, to cough. So yes, that's the starting point.
Wow. So from there, it's an automatic build up.
Yes, from then it's automatic build up.
It's a build up. So now, okay. Now back to my brother here. When did you realize what you were doing was wrong? Like, how did you realize it? When did you realize it, and how? I mean, what did it make you do?
When I realized that it was something not good and wrong, it's when I tend to lose a lot of money. All the savings, all the jobs that I was doing, if it was for 1 week payment, I just use it in just 1 day or 2 days just by using this kind of drugs. And the second reason is because I was brought up in a religious background where none of us all of my grandparents and my parents, they didn't smoke these kind of things. And I was like the first one, and it was like very bad for me to see.
Inosi, hit us with the answer to the question. What was the experience that you went through that made you realize what you're doing is wrong?
Thank you very much, Dawn, for that question. So my experience with smoking came to a level where I couldn't stop. I need to smoke every day.
How much were you smoking every day?
So for me, the first thing when I wake up in the morning is it's either I smoke suki or cigarette or weed. As long as the smoke goes into my lungs, that's like it became a part of me. I came to a point where I realized that my brains were not functioning well. I realized that I started getting memory loss.
Oh.
And I'm gonna say a situation where I came back from school with my uniform. So when I reached home and I entered our balcony, the first thing that I did was that I took off my shirt. When I took off my shirt, I hung it on the clothesline at our balcony. So I went inside the house and then had a cup of tea. Inside the house, I realized that I need my cards. I left some money in the pocket of my shirt. So I started looking for my shirt. I started looking for it. It spent me more than 30 minutes looking for the shirt. And then when I came out of the house, I saw it was clearly smiling at me from the clothesline on the balcony. From that day, I stood still. I realized that marijuana effects was affecting me. It was making me have short-term memory loss.
Boy.
So that was the first encounter, and I had multiple encounters after that.
So those experiences, when you went through that was the first experience that made you realize, hey, what I'm doing is wrong. But the question is, did you stop?
No, I did not stop.
So you did not stop, but you had that realization. You knew that.
Yes.
Right?
I knew that it affected me. It affected my mental health. It affected my organs. It affected my ability to socialize with people. You know, when you are high, you don't like to talk to people. You like to just meditate and think about things. This is a fact, and it's the reality. You see a person coming with red eyes, not wanting to smile, not wanting to talk, because they are thinking about things. That's the thing about smoking marijuana. I realized it then. But before that, the thing is, I was being brought up in a Seventh-day Adventist family background. So doing this is a don't. In other words, it's a no-no from where I've been brought up in. My mom and dad used to say every day in the devotion, when we have devotion every day, they used to preach to us, do not do drugs. But because we were being brought up in the town area, we see these things happening. We see people doing it, so we tried it, we fell into it, and we fell in love with it. We became an addicted smoker.
Boy, you got anything to say there?
Not really.
So like you mentioned two things. One, you realized that you started losing your memory, and the second was that it was the upbringing that you had when you were a child.
Yes.
You know, from your parents giving you the right advice to not do drugs, and the background as well that you come from your daily devotionals, that you always reminded of this, and that's something. These are all the two main reasons why you started to realize and slowly make that step towards getting better. Is it?
When I realized that it was affecting me, I had to start praying. So I knew that if I continued, it would affect me really badly in the long run. So I watched this YouTube video, and there was once this guy was speaking on this YouTube video. He was saying everything, what he went through, how it affected him in his life, in his relationship with his spouse, and in his relationship with other people. So I was like thinking, if I'm gonna keep on doing this thing, it's gonna affect my relationship with anyone. And also, I went and I watched a sermon from Pastor Taj Speaklam. If you know, he is a preacher in the Seventh-day Adventist. He's a pastor. I watched his sermon, and he gave a testimony that he was also a very heavy smoker. So when he gave his testimony, the same thing that he went through, I also went through the same thing. So I was at the back of my mind, I kept it there. It never went missing from there until the day I left it. So every day my heart was willing to leave it. But because it gave me a sort of happiness and a feeling of being able to fit into my friends, and a feeling of being able to do tough jobs, hard labor. That's why it was so hard for me to leave it. But it was only through Jesus, I would say. It was only through the power of prayer.
You were able to overcome.
Yes, of course.
So, thanks, my brother Inosi, for sharing that. And those three main points that you said that made you realize. What were they? First one was realizing that you started losing your brain cells, started getting short-term memory loss. Second was the upbringing of your home. Third was that sermon that you've watched, right? And even though you were still, doing, even though these three things were going on, and you were still doing weed, you were taking small baby steps to overcome the drugs, right? Like Rome wasn't built in a day. It was a slow disconnect, I can say. Is that correct?
Sometimes when I was high, I usually sit, because when you smoke, you think a lot. So I usually sit, and then I used to think, man, I don't want to be in this situation in the whole of my life. I need to quit this. I need to put a stop on this. So sometimes I'll sit on my own, and then I think, and then, but as I've already mentioned, it was so hard. It was tough, because it became a part of me. It became a way of interacting with my friends. It became a way of me fitting into that friendship zone.
Difficult.
Yes, it was so hard.
Wow. But I'm glad that now you overcome it.
Yes, only through the power of prayer.
Wow.
That's incredibly powerful. Just one question. How exactly did you stop? Like, when did you make that?
That switch, like
Yeah.
finally, I'm gonna give it up.
I am not going to do it again.
Most advice that we get from people is to live it slowly. I did it a couple of times. I did it, a lot of times, to sort of live it slowly. You cannot just quit all at once. That's what people say. You need to live it slowly, like one by one. Like at least stop smoking suki first, and then stop smoking cigarette, and then stop drinking, and then you'll eventually quit smoking weed. But I do not believe in that. I say boldly that it does not work. Because if you're gonna do it slowly, eventually you'll keep on doing it. It doesn't work. 100% guaranteed it never works, and it doesn't work. If you want to quit, you can just leave it all at once. That's the thing with me. I tried it from after Form 7 because I tried it way back in Form 4. So after Form 7, I was like thinking, man, I'll go to university, I'll go to USP, and then I'll stop smoking weed. I'll stop all this bad stuff because I want to be a gold medalist during my graduation. So as soon as I reach tertiary, I will leave all these drugs. But it was the exact opposite. When I came to USP, I saw different kind of drugs. I saw people, I'm not trying to inform them, but
Trying to expose them.
I'm not trying to expose them, but it was way worse way back in high school.
So the exposure is intensified.
Yes.
And in that time of intensified exposure, when did you decide? Like, what was that event that just made you say, "I'll leave it"?
I will say that I won't disclose all this information,
Okay.
but I would say family problem.
Oh, got it.
It was because of drugs. It was because of this having friendship. When we have friends, we sort of spend a lot of time with them. Family was being left on their own. Mom and dad was staying at home. I have no idea what is going on at home. All I'll do is just come home, bath, and then go back, stand in front of the shop, choke people who come and buy, so that we can do those kind of things, and then tell stories whole night in front of the shop, and then stand around there around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., come home, sleep a little bit, and then go back. So I came to uni. I was in university life, and then went back home. That's when I realized, if I'm gonna keep on doing this, I'm not creating a healthy relationship with my family.
Boom.
So I need to put a stop.
From that moment on.
I said boldly in my heart, I took a cigarette, smoke one whole cigarette on my own. We don't do this. Fijian boys don't do this. Fijian boys are known of their loving nature. We share cigarettes. We don't smoke. Yes, peace pipe. We don't smoke alone.
Peace pipe is the terminology.
Peace pipe is the terminology. So I took this cigarette. I smoked it alone. I took this cigarette. I smoked it all alone by myself. Afterwards, I took a pack of weed. I smoked it all alone. And then as soon as I left that bottle down, I said to my heart, this is the last time I'm picking that bottle up again. And I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to dive into that again.
Wow.
This is the last time I'm smoking this cigarette. I threw it to the ground. I threw that bottle to the ground. I told myself, it's over. It's been a number of years where I've been doing this.
Wow.
Started way back in Form 4 till my final year at the University of the South Pacific.
Interesting. Whoa. Powerful testimony. That's a powerful one,
That's
right?
so powerful.
Super powerful. And maybe Nico, you wanna share your story on that moment that you realized that what you're doing was wrong, and then you started taking the necessary steps to put it aside.
Okay. So yes, the moment I realized that this decision was so wrong. It was when I saw myself. I can't gain weight anymore. I started to lose weight on a day by day. Even though I'm a big eater, I might say, so I still can't gain weight. And although I took part in sports, I still can't gain weight. So yes,
So you're just losing weight.
losing weight, and I also gone through what Inosi said. Started to have kind of a dementia issues where I had memory loss. My brain couldn't function well, and forgot what to do again. And yes, of course, yes, that's the moment I realized that this is a bad thing for me.
So, what made you say no? No more.
And yes, similar story with Inosi. I know it was a wrong decision. I also was brought up in a religious family. We also came in a Seventh-day Adventist family too. And yes, like Inosi has said, that's a big no-no for us. It's a taboo. We can't even touch it or go near it. Not even buy it. If our parents sees us, catch us having it, that's a big bad day for us. And yes, so I kept on doing it until I was in year 12, Form 6. Yes, I had this kind of sickness where it was so bad, so horrible. Even the doctors couldn't even interpret what sickness this is. They said I went to the hospital. They said I was all healthy, all fit. I'm the healthiest person in this hospital. Why I'm still yes. Why I'm still in the hospital? I've gone to the X-rays and stuff. They said it was all fine, but in the meantime, I was still gone through very bad situation. So I'm a type of child where if I've done bad things, I'll get no. Sorry, what? I'll get that
Reimbursed.
no. If I get that if I did this, I'll get that something will happen to me later.
Like a karma or something like
Yes, it's more like a karma. Yes,
Like retribution. Is that
yes.
No.
More like karma.
Like a eel. Like,
Yeah, similar to it.
Yeah. You like
So,
similar something like
Yes,
Yeah.
if every little tiny bad thing I do, there's a bad
Repercussions?
Repercussions.
yes to it. So I've kept on doing it. Tried varieties of it, and yes, when I reached the youth officer there, I had a sickness where doctors couldn't. It's more like a supernatural sickness, I might say, black magic, where I was involved in. Not too deep.
No, it's okay. It's cool.
It's all right. It's all good.
Yes, and there was no solution to it. So the only solution to it was the Lord Jesus Christ, and I had to. That was my turning point for me to stop everything and just to turn to God. Because the doctor said I'm all fit, I'm all healthy, but they know my body condition is not healthy. I had red eyes, still vomiting blood, and I can't even move, or I had to sleep. I can't even sleep 1 week, to be honest. I had to be awake, so it was so difficult for me to sleep during the night. Sometimes I can sleep inside the sitting room. I had to go sleep outside. I had to find things that is so comfortable for me, so it will be able for me to sleep during the night. So that's the turning point. That's where I realized I had to stop this, and there's no solution to it. It was just God is the solution to it.
So that's really powerful. That's really powerful testimony. What do you think?
I just wanted to ask, what was that experience like for you? Like, did you have any withdrawals? Did you have any like withdrawal symptoms or
Like after you
you quit.
Sorry.
yeah, after you quit the
After
smoking?
you quit smoking and drugs like that, did you feel like you still wanted it more, or
Yes, yes, that craving feeling, because it's like it was trying to drag us back into it, because you have left it for some times, and we move forward, and yes, it was
difficult?
so difficult.
But Vinaka, bro, thanks for sharing us your powerful testimony, and your story is just on point. No one can take that story from you. That's what you experienced. No one can dispute that. Appreciate it, my brother Nix. Now, let's hear from my brother Amani over here.
Vinak, Don, as you mentioned, one of the turning points where I had to turn my back and say that this what I'm doing is wrong, is when I ended up in prison in one of the cell blocks back in BulaTok. I was going with some of the bad boys, the ones who were selling drugs. And then the same time the police came, and then the drug dealers, they saw one of them, they had medical statements where they said that they just came back from the hospital, because beside where we used to sell drugs, we had one health center there. And there was no excuse for me, so I had to go. I had to spend one weekend in the cell block back in BulaTok. And the second experience where I know that drugs is not for me is when, just as mentioned by Tukana, by Nico, he mentioned that he had a great sickness. I also had this kind of sickness. I was sent to the hospital because I had pneumonia. If you know pneumonia is where there's plenty of bad air inside your lungs. So, and then I had my X-ray. Sorry. And then they saw that my lungs was all blurry. So the nurse told me, man, do you smoke weed? I said yes. Do you smoke cigarette? I said yes. Do you drink alcohol? And then I said yes. Do you smoke suki? I said yes. And then the nurse recommended that for me to stop all this habit. So I decided, man, if I want to get away from this disease, I have to change my lifestyle. So from then on, I quit smoking cigarette, and then I slowly quit smoking suki. And then the last one was smoking marijuana, because most of the time I used to smoke daily. Like for one day, I have to smoke around 5 packs. That is 5 tens. That's
$50.
50 bucks. So I had to stop that, man.
It's a big money.
Yeah, and also I spent a lot of money in those drugs. So I decided to quit from whatever I'm doing. Like,
Bro, wow, that's an interesting story, brother, and very powerful to see how you came to realize what you're doing was wrong. Now, just briefly, we're rounding up now. Briefly, what are some words of encouragement that you would like to give out to our youths who are watching in our podcast this evening? Just an encouragement for them to stop doing this, or to not even consider using drugs or even smoking cigarettes, taking alcohol abuse. Yeah.
One of the what I would say is, if you haven't started smoking, please don't smoke, because For me, how I ended up smoking was because of curiosity. I wanted to try something new, and from that, it became an addiction, and I started smoking. I smoked for years. So the best best advice that I could give is for you: if you haven't started smoking, please do not smoke. Do not try it. Naka.
Thank you very much, my brother. Inosi?
Act now or lose a generation to drugs. That's the exact words from Wesley Revi, published on Fiji Sun on the 1st of July 2025. He said, young youths, young adults, please do not do drugs. Turn to sports. Sports can take you somewhere good. Even if you are not good in academic wise, even if you are not do good in singing or other sorts of ways, mechanical or electrical or this kind of trading, you can play rugby and earn good money abroad. When you do drugs, it hinders your potential of achieving your dream. It affects your career pathway. To young adults listening, please refrain from doing drugs. Because it affects the mindset, it affects your body as well. You will not be able to gain, to sort of show the potential or the natural body that God created for you. When you do drugs, you wake up a lot and you sleep less, which affects your body. You will not be able to grow. You'll notice that people who do drugs, they're sort of skinny. So, to young adults listening out there, please refrain from doing drugs, because it will affect your career pathway.
Naka. Thank you so much. Malo. Nico.
Sorry, can you just repeat the...
So if you were to inspire our viewers, those who are currently using it, those who have not used it but are thinking about using it, what would be your words of empowerment to them? Encouragement.
Oh, thank you. Like Amani said, like Amani have mentioned, if you haven't tried drugs, never take a step to try it. But first of all, for you to progress, you need to have a great relationship with Jesus Christ. That's first and foremost. Even if it's so hard for you to have it, maybe it's difficult for your spiritual life. Try to build a spiritual life. That's first and foremost. And secondly, yes, all those awareness you have in primary school, in high schools, where we always have that either diet programs, those effects and negative impacts of drugs, those impacts are all true. So we have to adhere to it. Never try it. It's all of them are all true.
If there's a will, there's a way. So if you want to quit drugs, then it must come from within you. It must come from yourself, not under the influence of someone else, not from your parents saying that you must put a stop to it. No, if there's a will, there's a way. It must come from you. It must come from your mindset. So if you are planning to put a stop to it, then only you will be able to do it. If it's an advice from others, you will not be able to do it. Young generation, please think about your tomorrow. Think about your kids. You won't be young forever. One day you'll be fathers. One day you'll be mothers. Think about those days. How will you speak to your kids? What will you say to them? How will you provide for them? Which is why I've already mentioned, doing drugs, it affects your career pathway.
Naka.
I think.
You think that sums it all up?
Yes. Summed it up.
Yeah?
Summed it up.
No, but like valid points, all valid points. Really good, really good.
Sorry, just one last question.
Yes.
If all of you could go back in time and meet your younger self before you started doing drugs, what is something that you would tell them?
If I had to take back time and go back to when the first day I started doing drugs, I would say no. Boldly, I would say no.
Do you think if you didn't take drugs back then, your memory and everything would be?
Yes,
Spot on.
of course. I've made decisions in life which I will regret whole life. I've done things which I will regret whole of my life. And drugs is one of the main factors that lead me into doing those bad things. And I will regret my whole life because I did things under the influence of drugs. Which is why if I had to go back to that very moment when I started smoking for the very first time, I would say no, take it away from me. Naka.
Look, for me, if I had to go back from my younger self, one of the things that I would do is, because these things, I wanted it from inside. I wanted to try these things and that thing. I want to try the world. But if I had to go back, I would say that I would say no to this kind of things. If I would have made this decision from right when I started smoking, I would have been somewhere else now. But because of these decisions, I know that I'm still roaming around. One of the Bible texts that I like the most is, when you make your decisions, try to trust in the Lord. One of the memory verses that I used to like when I changed from doing the bad things into doing the good things is Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your hearts and He will make your path straight. Whenever you want to make a decision, try to trust in God, and God will make you follow the right path.
What about you, Nico? You're the main man.
So if I were to go back in time to my younger self, firstly I would tell him, listen to my mom and dad, and like the Bible have said, honor your father and your mother so you can have a long life. And I would remind my younger version that Bible text, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Whatever decisions I have to make, whatever steps I have to take, I have to remember I have to do this for the glory of God, so that I can have a prosperous life, a prosperous future into it, and to help my families and all my relatives and the community. Yes.
Thank you, my bro. Very powerful, very powerful. Man, brothers, I want to take this time to thank you all for coming here tonight and being a special, playing a special part in this podcast on how I overcame drugs. And you shared your stories, you poured out your hearts. Our listeners are watching in Avon. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Your stories were powerful. Thank you so much for coming on the show to not only tell it like how you experienced it, but also giving your own advice to our young listeners out there, and hopefully they will take heed of it.
Yes, of course. We look forward to having you sometime in the future as well. I'm sure that there's a lot of stories that you'd like to share with us on other topics, your university students, and we could also get other guests as well to talk, and we can all share about our experiences as young youths in these days through storytelling. This is an open space, and what you say here will empower, it will educate, and it will also equip our listeners to make the right decisions before any disaster happens, to prevent them from any further disasters. Thank you very much, boys. Naka.